Welcome to Bonkers Britain. 4 schools in Brighton have asked families not to use the expression mum or dad in order that less conventional families don't feel excluded. One of the schools, a primary school no less, has told students literally not to use those words mum or dad when referring to their parents, claiming that the term grown-ups is more appropriate as it does not discriminate. Grow up. In the woke takeover of this country, we've seen great artists and public figures cancelled. We've seen comedians too afraid to tell a joke and musicians too afraid to sing a classic song. We've seen the rewriting of our history, a land grab of our language, and the cancellation of women. And now it's mums and dads that are for the chop. Can you imagine how confusing it is for small children being told that they can't call their mum mum, someone who gestated them for 9 months, breastfed them and raised them, and dare I say it, a cervix was involved in their arrival on the planet. And they can't call dad dad, someone who has also contributed to their existence in a pretty fundamental way. I mean, I'll spare you the gory details. It's a family show. We've seen health authorities talk about humans with vaginas, chest feeding rather than breastfeeding, and pregnant people, not pregnant women, which is what they are. This dystopian madness has got to stop. Now, I'm super pro-trans and have many friends who have been on this important and joyous journey. It's a fundamental human right to identify in the way that you so wish. I get it. It's not a life choice, it's who you are. But the line is a clear one. Gender ideology, which challenges the idea that there are 2 biological sexes, is wrong. Now, don't take my word for it. Professor Robert Winston, one of the most respected experts on fertility in the whole of the world, said just that on BBC's Question Time. Take a look.
Cannot change your sex. Your sex actually is there in every single cell in the body. You have a chromosomal sex, you have genetic sex, you have hormonal sex. I think it's a very sad thing that we can't discuss biological science without actually getting completely caught up emotionally with something which is really completely wrong.
Very sad indeed. If we give in to this stuff, it will only get worse. With this policy, children are being indoctrinated to think that mum is not mum and dad is not dad. How dare a school say what their children can call their parents? This strange dogma, of course, comes from America, and it's rife in our universities, which saw respected Professor Kathleen Stock hounded out of her job for entirely uncontroversial remarks about biological sex. And of course, J.K. Rowling has faced hatred, abuse and attempted cancellation for the same thought crime. Luckily, you can't cancel this billionaire author, a woman whose book sales are only seriously rivaled now by the Bible. Well, this country needs a Bible of common sense. This storm comes on the same day that many on social media reacted with horror, watching someone that used to be a man breaking all swimming records in a top university championship in the US. Take a look at this.
Thomas heads in for the final turn. It's going to be a race for second place. It might be Penn going 1-2 with Buroka making the turn currently in second place. And over the last half of the pool, nobody will touch Leah Thomas, who will finish at 4:37.32. Leah Thomas, Ivy League champion.
I'm sorry, but I can't congratulate her. Leah Thomas is the Ivy League champion in the 500 free. Her time of 4 minutes and 32 seconds is a new pool record in this competition. Katherine Buroka, a biological woman, finished in second place. How surprising that someone born with a penis and testicles, overflowing in testosterone from male puberty, and boasting a higher muscle mass should beat a biological woman by 7 seconds. What a surprise. Now, trans people must participate in sport just as they have a huge contribution across all aspects of life, but not at the expense of biological women who are at a clear disadvantage when it comes to sport. Serena Williams, extraordinary athlete though she is, and stronger than most women on the planet, couldn't win a point, let alone a game, against Roger Federer. Ultimately, across both of these stories, what we're seeing is an attack on women, an attack on the nuclear family, an attack on science, an attack on biology, an attack on empathy, and an attack on basic common sense. How can Leah Thomas, in any conscience, celebrate her win against women that have trained for years and who have no chance of success against someone that was born a male? Don't take my word for it. Legendary athlete and trans woman Caitlyn Jenner, an absolute hero of mine, says that this is wrong. And language matters. If you try to erase expressions like mum and dad, there is more than just people's sensitivities at play. You're signing up to this irrational and twisted madness from which there may be no return.